Now we are beginning Dvar Malchut. These are speeches that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave in 1991 and 1992 and they ended when he had a stroke in 1992 and he couldn't speak anymore. Okay, so this doesn't exactly coincide. The year 1991 when the Rebbe spoke, the dates, the Torah reading doesn't exactly correspond to the Torah reading that we have now, because there's some years where we read double portions and things like that. In any case, it's not important. The message is the important thing, and that's what it was then. Now we are in reading Parshas Achrei alone. It's not Achrei Kedoshim. And that year they read combined Achrei Mot and the next week's Torah Kedoshim. They read it together, and the date was also about 3 weeks from ours. Let's see, what is the date over here? 2 weeks. 2 weeks, no, 2.5 weeks, right, from what we are now. Yes, 2.5 weeks. It's Yud Gimel Iyar. Okay. The kesher that we said, and attached to what we said before, Orot Geula, and regarding the redemption. The Gula Amitit Vashlema, the true redemption of the whole entire world. That we wait for it every single day, and we hope that it will come every single day. Like the law, that the din, bahalacha, and Allah should know there that a person that makes a vow that he's not going to drink wine on the day that Moshiach comes. So let's say you hear the Moshiach is going to come, this evening, right before the evening. So you can't drink wine the whole entire day from the daytime. But I don't know when Moshiach is going to come. So I make a vow, I'm not going to drink wine on the day Moshiach comes. The law is, asur lishtot yain, you can't drink wine ever. Because Moshiach is supposed to come immediately. And it'll end up Moshiach came, you announced, and there you just finished taking a sip of wine, and you transgressed your vow. Each and every Jew has to do in order to bring the future redemption. So therefore, I think it is proper that we should contemplate, delay a little bit on this. Let's, wait here and think about what exactly is this redemption that we're waiting for. Then it'll be a little bit easier to understand what we have to do in order to bring it. What is Geula? And how we can prepare for this Geula that's coming now. What's supposed to be the Geula? I think you can see very clearly that the world can't continue the way it is now. I mean, maybe you could think that, things were going pretty good in America. You could do commandments and you could prosper. And Israel, we sort of got along, and so Jews are, they're just like an interesting part of the world. But suddenly, all of a sudden now, in the world, the anti-Semitism is rising up for no reason. No one, so the Israeli government, let's say they're not okay, but why all the Jews in the world? And also, we were attacked. We were attacked, and our enemy is still there, and they're still swearing that they're going to kill us. They're vowing. It's just so obvious that the enemy is just pure destruction. I mean, these people, the Hamas, have never, ever done anything except kill and destroy. Never. They don't have anything on their record. They didn't build any buildings. They didn't, educate people. They educated all the children to kill us. They built these tunnels. They stole money. They did this. And suddenly we see the whole United Nations agrees with them. And the college universities agrees with them. And all over the world are starting to agree with them. Right? And it's just pure destruction. And they're saying in the college campuses, we're going to take over the whole world. We're going to destroy, capitalist imperialism and all these Marxist crazy ideas that never worked. So it's like people are like pro-suicide. Obviously it can't continue because if they get what they want, then they'll be destroyed. So that's the world was not created for destruction, for to implode, like they say. So we see that the world has to change. There has to be a change. Okay, that's not the purpose of these classes. Is to note how bad the world is. The only reason I'm bringing it up is that we realize that something really is missing from mankind. Something is missing. Some sort of values or order is basic, is missing from all mankind, that such things can happen as what's going on now. And like I say, you can say, oh, it's these maniacs on the college campuses, but the whole United Nations, that's all the countries of the world, right? There's one or two of them that did. And so we see that there's something really sick in the essence of mankind. Let's not say sick, let's say missing, lacking. Something, and it has to be filled. This void of meaninglessness has to be filled. And we can see the results right now, right? In the world. I mean, in the college campuses, they're going crazy. We have to free Palestine. They don't even know what Palestine is. They don't know what intifada is. They don't know what any of these things mean. They're saying Arab slogans. They don't even know what they mean. Okay, so how are we supposed to fill this void? How can we cure the situation? Right? It's like saying a person is really sick. What's the cure? You have to resuscitate him. You give him a little shot of vitamin B or something like that, and then he gets better. Right now he's on the verge of death. So you give him a little shot of vitamin B, and all of a sudden he comes alive, and you realize he's a good piano player, and he's a wonderful person, and he has a good sense of humor, and he can dance, and he can create things, and he's a scientist, and there's all these new things that just, it's not just he's not sick anymore. Right? The goal of the world is not to be not sick. The goal of the world is that everyone should reveal their true potential for good. And that's Geula. That's what the Geula is, and that's what we're going to talk about. Tochne of Shel Davar, the main thing of Geula that we're waiting for, Geula, in Hebrew they translate a redemption, the English redemption. What is the Geula? What are we working for? This is the hand of, only the Jews can do it. Only the Jews can fix up the world. Only the Jews. It's only in our hands. We have the Torah to do it. We have the Torah. That's why God gave the Torah. Only the Jews can do it. What does it mean? What does it mean? It says, Tochna shel davar, it is stressed, especially in the name of Gula. Kenu gam benogea legeula. Also in the redemption itself. Nitan lekabel musog. You can get a little bit of an idea by means of just contemplating, thinking about what does the word geula mean? Geula. In a geula that we find in the Torah, there's a lot of different expressions. Parshas Va'era, we had the second chapter of the book of Exodus. It begins, there's 4 languages of geula. It says, Vahotzeti, I took the Jews out. It says, God said, I took the Jews out. I saved the Jews. I go'olti, I redeemed the Jews. V'lakachti, and I took the Jews. All these are languages of redemption. God took the Jews out of Egypt. Hotzeti, Hotitzalti, Go'alti, Lakachti. The 5th language is Heveti. There's also another 5th that this corresponds to the 4 cups we drink. This is the 5th cup. Even though the Kavanas Kolon Lashonos, even though the intention of all this is Hatoch, the general meaning of Yitzia, that we went out of exile, right? All these 5 terms imply leaving exile and going to freedom. But nevertheless, only one of them is Geula, and there's something special about that word. Why? Geula. Why do we call it Geula? The future redemption is going to be Geula. Go'el Yisrael. When we pray, Go'el Yisrael, we pray for Geula, Geula Shlema. We can say that B'Gelala Maila Zu, because of this special quality of this word, Geula, and therefore all of the other type of redemptions are called Geula. The future Moshiach is going to call Geula Amitit V'Shlema, the true, complete redemption. It's not called the Hotzia redemption, or the Hatzala redemption, or Lakicha, or Haveti, Havar Amitit. It's Geula Amitit V'Shlema. Why? Because Davka, the Geula Acharona, especially this last redemption that we're going to have now, is the third one. We got out of Egypt. That's the first one. We got out of Babylon. The Babylonians destroyed the second temple, the first temple. That's the second redemption. And the third one, we're going to get out of the exile of Rome, it says. Galus Romi, Edom. That's the third redemption. After that, it's going to be finished. By the way, interesting thing, I read, if you want to look at it, in the prophecy of Daniel. So Daniel sees this big, a whole thing. Nebuchadnezzar tells Daniel, translate my dream. He said, okay, what's the dream? So you have to tell me the dream too. So Daniel tells him the dream. He tells him the dream, and he sees a big statue, a big, huge statue, and the head is gold, and the body is silver, and then there's copper, and then it says the legs are made of iron and dirt. You look and you'll see. So the explainers say that this talks about the 4 exiles that the Jewish people are in. 4. Here it talks about 3 or 4. It says the first one was Persia, Babylon, and then Persia, and then Greece, and then Christianity and Islam. That's the fourth one, because he sort of lumps together Persia and Greece together. Anyway, the fourth one, you look over there and see, and there's going to come one small stone that's going to be hewn, and it's going to knock them all down, and that's going to stay forever. All the others are going to get knocked down, and that small stone that's going to knock them all, that's the Jews. Look over there. It's really interesting, huh? Really interesting. It's weird also. It's really, but the whole story of Daniel is really bizarre. The whole thing is just really, it throws him out a den full of lions, and it throws him in fiery furnaces, and the whole thing is crazy. Story. Look over Daniel, the vision of Daniel, really amazing. Huh? So it seems that there were the last is the final geula. That's the final geula. It says a true and complete geula. Okay, so it says in the word geula, why do we chose the future redemption use this word geula? We have all 4 other terms to use for redemption, right? Hotzeti, tzalti, lakachti, heveti. Why geula? So it says, in the word geula, we see something amazing. The word geula are the same letters as exile. Gola. Gola shechina le'edom imon. Gola shechina le. Gola, but it's just, you just add on the letter Aleph. Ukaritam in Midrash, like it says in the Midrash, that the word Gola, which means exile, it says Gola al Rosho. It says Gola means the word Gola has 2 different meanings. Train Amorim, there's 2 Amoras. Amoras were the great rabbis of the Talmud also. Chad, one of them says Gola means Galos, exile, and one says Gola means Geula, redemption. Yadura Bir, it means like this. It said he saw this Gola al Rosha, it was in the vision of a Zechariah. Zechariah, he saw a big, whatever it is, and there was a gold, like a big bowl or something on its head. And it says, what does it mean? It means, what is this? It means, either one says it means, this is hinting at the exile, and the other one says it's hinting at the redemption. But you're doing, it's known, Shetosav's Aleph, that the Aleph that they put inside of it is made, Bechinas Gola, Bechinas Geula. You take the word Gola, which means exile, and you just add, you don't have to take anything away. The exile itself is not essentially bad. The world is not bad. The world is good. You just have to add something to it. You don't have to kill all the evil people or destroy all the idolaters or punish everybody, send them to hell, the non-believers or the whatever it is. No. All you have to do is add an Aleph. And then you put to the world, and all of a sudden everything flips around and you have Geula. This refers to, like I said, like giving the sick person vitamin A, whatever vitamin A is. All of a sudden, the person, not just he's not sick anymore. All of a sudden, you realize that he's a genius and he has a sense of humor, and he's a dancer, and he plays piano, and he's entertaining, and he's helpful, and he's loving, and he's right. And all of a sudden, a personality comes out. You just inject the Aleph into the world, and all of a sudden, the world comes alive. So by means of the work of a Jew in this service of God, lahachnis, to put in this aleph, and what's the aleph we're going to see? Aluf shalolam, into the exile will become gola. One thing aleph certainly is emes, truth, just to put truth into the world. So to go and explain to everyone, that the land belongs to us. We were here before in the Balfour Declaration, and we're really nice guys. And there's a lot of other. We let the Arabs live here, and there's churches all over the place. And we have big parties on the sand, and everybody's running around naked, and we are the best country in the world. That's exactly the opposite of what is right. That's part of the exile. Right? And what do we have to do? We have to put a little bit of truth into the world, and all of a sudden it transforms everything. Everything just suddenly becomes alive. And people will say, why did I ever think that was a good thing, to do all these crazy things? Why did I think that, denying my Jewish identity was good? Why did I think that, being a coward was a good thing? On the other hand, it's not easy to be courageous, but that's the essence of the Jews. We have to put the aleph, bring a little bit of truth into Geula. We'll see what it is. At first glance, it's not understood. Geula is the opposite, the total opposite of exile. If so, how can it possibly be that Geula, the word Geula, is inside of it the word Gola? Huh? It's almost like saying if you take the word Nazi and you just add one letter to it, it comes to be Melech HaMashiach. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. That's what Gola is. Gola is exile. You're going to say you put one little change and the whole thing is going to transform. How can that be? That's the opposite. The Yateremizu, and even more, Geula is made the main word of redemption. 4/5 of that word, there's 5 letters. 4 of those letters are exile letters. Ajarovos is the majority of the letters of Geula, and they are really Gola. The Hosafa is only just the letter Aleph, one letter Aleph. The Gam Rosha Tevos, also the beginning of the letters of Geula, it starts with a Gimel, Gimel of Gola. In other words, the whole word of Geula, of redemption, is dominated by exile. The majority of the letters are exile letters. And even the first letter, which in Hebrew, especially in Kabbalah and things like that, the first letter is the most important. The first is, like, for instance, in the 10 Commandments, the first commandment is the most important of the 10 Commandments. The first letter of the 10 Commandments is the most important of all the 10 Commandments. Right? The beginning. So Geula, the beginning letter of Geula, of redemption, is the letter from exile. So that's the dominant. How can this be? Yesh Lomo, we can say the explanation is like this. Geula, redemption, when we say redemption, it doesn't mean that we go leave exile, that we completely abandon life. Hapu'ulos, the accomplishments, the ha'olam, and the world, shahaya, that was before in exile. We don't say leave the world like the Jews left Egypt. We left Egypt. That's it. No more connection with Egypt. We're finished with Egypt. No more connection. No. The future redemption is not going to be like that. Adarabah, exactly the opposite. Geula, true redemption, is Perusha Metziut Shahaya Kodem, that the existence of the world, that was, but it was Mushubedet. It was just imprisoned. It was tied down in exile, becomes free. It becomes free. It's almost like taking a seed and looking at the seed. You have no idea what it is. Take the seed, put it into the ground. Suddenly the energy, the potential which is in the seed, becomes free. And there grows up a tree, and a beautiful tree. You can see, and there's leaves, and there's flowers, and there's fruits. And the fruits have more leaves, more seeds. And the seeds have more fruits, and etc. And you can give the fruits to animals to eat. The animals eat the fruits, and if there's no fruits from the word grass on the ground, then all the animals die. And if there's no animals, there's no fruits, then there's no life. People can't live. What do you eat bread from? What do you eat carrots from? Right? The ground, everything grows from seeds. The ground itself has all this potential inside of it, and it's not revealed. It's dead. You put a seed inside of it, all of a sudden the seed becomes alive and the ground becomes alive. That's geula. That's geula. It's not you say, well, because the ground is dead, so let's forget about the ground. Let's live in the sky. Hamayla, the whole thing of geula is shahakol, everything becomes free. All potential becomes revealed. In shum and yanim shenisharim, there's nothing that remains, God forbid, avudim that's lost in exile. Lo yatiru shum inyan bagalud. Nothing is left behind in exile. Afilu nidachim, even the pushed away people, the uvadim, and the lost people, those which are lost, shenikraim kach b'toras emes, right? Those Jews that are anti-Jews, the super communists, whatever, that they put the previous Rebbe into prison. They hate Judaism, they hate everything about it. They'll also be free. They're just imprisoned. Yigalu, everything will be released. Ha'geula tiyeh geula mitit shleim. It'll be a redemption true and complete. B'kamos u'be'echos, in quantity and in quality, in everything. Mi'aklal agadol sheba'em ad aprat shebaprat, from the most general of generalities to the most the detail of details. Everything will be the way it's supposed to be. Every single Jew and all the Jewish people, being our reinu, our children, our elders, our sons, our daughters, also chalkom ba'olam, also our houses, our cars, everything we have. Kasma v'zahava mitam. Their silver and their gold will be with them. Gold is not bad. Money is not bad. Im called pe'ulaton, like they say, money is the root of all evil. That's not so. Evil is the root of all evil. Evil can be done away with, right? Money is not bad, and people aren't bad. It's just that people can choose to make the wrong choices. Im called pe'ulaton v'sigasim babelos. Agula tishachrer kol adam. The redemption, future redemption, will free every person. Et kol bnei adam. Gam umot olam, also the non-Jews. Kol inyan olam, and everything in the world. Kol echad ve'echad, each and every one of them. Kol inyan, and all of its matters. I don't know if you, every day, like I say, I go to the hospital right here, and I ask people to put on tefillin. There's a lot of Arabs there, and the Israeli Arabs are very similar to Jews. You cannot, from their face, you can't tell the difference. An Arab, Israeli Arabs especially, Israeli Arabs and the Sephardic Jews, they look exactly the same. Some of them, most of them, as soon as they start to talk, you can hear from their accent. You can see that they're Arabs. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of them are very nice people, and we joke around. And are you Jewish? No, I'm not. It's God bless you. Thank you very much. You know this. And they say things like, there's only one God who creates everybody. It doesn't look like, they're not intimidated by me. There was one Arab that he mouthed off to me a little bit. Only one. It was only one that he said something. I just ignored him. I said, straps. That doesn't make any difference. All the rest, and I'm talking about hundreds of them, and they say, no, thank you. They're very nice. Before Israel started in this whole insanity of giving land away to the Arabs and making Palestinian state and all this crazy stuff, with this, the Arabs were the nicest people. You would, if you were your car stalled out in the nighttime in the highway, they would stop and help you, right? They're very, how do you say, warm people, essentially. But just all these crazy ideas with Islam, and there's a lot of Arabs also that use Islam. They only take the good part of it. They only take the parts which are taken from the Torah. And all the other stuff about, anybody who doesn't believe in me should be destroyed and killed. There's countries, Uzbekistan, that said that the Arabs get along, the Muslims get along very well. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that everyone essentially is good and everyone wants to do good, but education destroys them. Education destroys them. And here we're saying even more the lack of education. The fact that the Jewish people refuse to announce that God exists and that God chose us, and he chose us to tell the non-Jews how much he loves them, that's a big fault. Maybe it's the big fault. And as soon as the Jews are awakened, you can say, how can I go against the whole world? The answer is a little bit of truth. Just put one ALEF into the Gola, into this, and it transforms the whole thing. People like that, but you have to do it. You have to put it. It says everyone, even the people in the world, everybody will be free. Kol inyanim, all the things, the positive things in exile will remain. All right, will remain in exile. There won't be any more diseases. There won't be any more depression. There won't be any more addictions. The world can get along really good without addictions and without depression. All the good things, murder, destruction, there won't be anymore. That there won't. The bad things there won't be. But everything else will be, but they won't be affected by the exile. One of the main things about exile is fear. Fear. People are afraid, or they feel guilty. Right? They feel guilty. That's Christianity is based on fear and guilt. There won't be any more that religion anymore. It won't exist anymore. People won't be afraid. They won't feel that God is far away and that I'm guilty. And they'll be free from the terrible yoke of these false religions that are making them crazy. They're making them selfish. I'm going to go to heaven. This world is bad. That's a big lie. The world is really good. The world is better than heaven. Just there won't be any more exile idea anymore. There'll be removed the concealment that covers over the true existence of the world. And the people won't be so connected to nature anymore and the physicality of the world that comes from this the over dependence on the world. Like the Rambam Maimonides says, you don't think that in the days of the Moshiach necessarily anything is going to be changed in the world, or there's going to be some sort of a new world and the new trees are going to grow up or something. No. The Rambam, here it says the Rambam is talking about the beginning of the redemption. The world will go as it's supposed to be. But the rabbis say, Ein bein olam hazeh lemot Mashiach. There's nothing, the only difference between this world and the days of the Mashiach is, one second, I want to get my pointer back again. Lost my pointer. Ella, Shibud Malchus. Ella Shibud Malchus Boulevard, except we won't be under the oppression of any countries at all. Countries won't decide what we do, right? A Jew will be able to do Torah and commandments everywhere, anywhere that he wants to. Hachidush, the novelty will be Yachzuru Kulam Ladat Emet. All of them will come to the true religion. What it means, true religion? The non-Jews will believe in God, and they'll act accordingly. What's called the 7 no-eyed commandments. In other words, be normal human beings that have a connection to the Creator in everything you do. Pray, be honest, honor your family. Don't kill, don't steal. Don't be licentious, don't be a pervert. Be Atakan Mashiach. Mashiach will fix up the whole world. To serve God together, like it says, then I will transform all of the nations. What is this? It's Sfania 32. Sfania. In the prophet Sfania. It says, then I will transform all the nations to serve God and the nations, a clearer language to call, all of them will call only the name of the Creator and to serve Him in one group. I mean, the Creator is creating everybody. You're being created. Serve, believe only in your Creator. God is creating you for free. Don't be an ingrate. God is creating you. He's giving you life. Every person in the world, no matter where you live, no matter what your color is, no matter what your IQ is, you are being created by God. You are beloved of God. He's creating you. He's enlivening you. Serve only your Creator. Everyone will have a clear language and serve only God. They won't call God all sorts of weird names and things like that. Now, according to this, it's understood why the word geula includes the word gola, exile. Although it's just it's the same thing as exile, but you just add on the letter aleph. Geula, it doesn't negate the world. It doesn't take away the gola, the galut. Exactly the opposite. The whole thing of geula is to elevate, to put meaning into, to give an injection of a vitamin into everything that's in the world. So the world stays the same, but it just becomes alive. It becomes aware of the Creator. Everyone becomes aware of how beloved they are, how important they are. And you'll get rid of all the things from exile, especially worry. You won't have any worrying about what happened, blaming other people. From this, Gufa will make Geula, that'll be the idea of redemption. They said by means of this, that we reveal that everything in the world, that in exile, the ALEF of the Alufo Shalom. By means of this, Masirim at the Helam, you remove the concealment of what's in exile that covers over everything, the Tachlis Amiti, and it covers over everything's true purpose. And it reveals the Ulufo Shalom, and it reveals the God which is in everything. And there's one thing, I'm a very, very big fan, and I've read a lot of books, and I've read them all several times, each book, of Professor Viktor Frankl. And he's just wonderful. He's amazing. He's the only one. From all the psychologists, all the psychiatrists, the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that all the other psychiatrists and the psychologists and all these others, they looked deeply into the soul of man, and they found filth and dirt. And Viktor Frankl looked deeply into the soul of man, and he found diamonds. That the soul of man is good. And that's what he says. He says that every human being is different, every human being is unique, and every human being is here for a purpose, for a meaning. He leaves God out. He talks a lot about God, but he says, my system is for atheists as well. But the idea of atheism, it doesn't mean that he doesn't believe that there's a God. It's just that he doesn't believe that he's God. That's the idea. You don't believe I'm God. There's a purpose in the world. There's something more. I don't determine what meaning is. God determines what meaning is, and the future is in God's hands. That's a very important thing. This Viktor Frankl was a big expert in preventing suicide, a big expert. Even in the Holocaust, and this, I could tell stories about it, but he was a big expert. And one of the main things of preventing suicide is you don't know what's going to be tomorrow. Leave tomorrow in the hands of God. Why stop the future? What does suicide mean? You're sure that the future is going to be like the present. Maybe the future is going to be different. The future is in the hands of God. Believe in the future. Believe in God. When that happens, there won't be so much destruction. People won't try to be so control crazy or pleasure crazy or depression crazy, whatever. That's what it means. Give yourself over to the Alufo Shalom. The Tachlit, that's the purpose of the whole purpose of the world, of the exile, that because God created it, the exile is the only reason he created this world and the terrible things in the world is so that we should transform it to be Geula, put an ALEF. This Geula is just revealing this ALEF, revealing the godliness. ALEF is the Alufo Shalom, revealing God in the world. Well, like I said before, at least revealing that we aren't God. And we have Begola, Giluya Emet, the true revelation of everything in Gullus, everything that's in the world in the time of exile, the revelation of godliness and everything that's in the world. And as everything in the world is being created by God for a purpose, reveal what this purpose is. And you don't know what the purpose is, believe that there is a purpose. You won't take anything for granted. The world is a big gift. Life is a gift. An amazing, beautiful, happy surprise. Kafi shekol zeh megala, like it is, revealing the glory of God. So in other words, revealing the glory of God doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you're doing. And I'm not going to be an auto mechanic anymore, and I'm not going to like music anymore, and I'm not going to dress nice anymore, and I'm not going to smile or have a good time anymore. You can do all those things are good. All those things are wonderful. You just have to do it with the Creator in mind, according to the Torah. That's the Alufo Shalom, as we're going to talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. What is this idea of redemption and Geula? God willing, will continue tomorrow. And now, Yom Yom. 1 minute.